Hi everyone, I'm Kerro O'Shea, the Coordinator Voice and the host for this evening's webinar. A very special welcome to tonight's presenters, District 9650 Young Leaders Rotary Club co-presidents, Charlotte Moore and Caitlin Davey. Charlotte and Caitlin, how are you?
Thank you, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. At this stage, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm hosting tonight's webinar. That's the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, traditional custodians, and I offer my respects and acknowledge the strengths of their culture and offer my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So at this stage, we're going to hear about the RYLA to Rotary experience to be presented by, and their club to be presented by Caitlin and Charlotte. Over to you, please, ladies.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to kick things off tonight. So, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Caitlin. People in my club call me Kate. But I'm the foundation co-president of the Young Leaders Club and the club president for 2022-2023. I am joined by Charlotte, who is my foundation co-president, club public officer and youth protection officer for 2021-2022. So right off the top, I'd like to welcome you all and thank you for joining us to learn more about our club and our journey from RYLA right through to becoming Rotarians. I do have a video slideshow that I'm just going to share, so bear with me while I get that happening, and then I'll keep talking. There we go. Okay, so when Charlotte and I were talking about what we wanted to say tonight, we thought that it would be best to start right from the beginning. So our club was formed after we attended the Rotary Youth Leadership Award program, or RYLA, last May. We founded our club with 21 members, all of which are RYLArians from the District 9650. Since chartering, we have grown to welcome 3 additional members, one of which is also a RYLArian who attended our first project, RYLA O-Day, which Charlotte will tell you about in a little bit. And our other 2 members who have also joined our club since then are not RYLA alumni, but they do share our club values, and we're hoping to send them in the future. All our members are aged 19 to 30 years old and live in various locations across New South Wales, Australia.
So our club was officially chartered on July 16th, 2021, just 10 weeks after RYLA concluded last year. As a group of young people, we come with a distinct perspective driven by our unique and diverse membership, and we all have a passion for changing and making a difference in the community. So our club has 3 overarching goals that underpin everything that we do. These goals include to promote and encourage youth involvement and commitment to their local communities, strive to nurture, support and mentor young leaders on their journey of self-discovery, and to support humanitarian projects and fundraising activities that seek to assist young people in developing their leadership skills and their individual life purpose. The basis of everything that we do in our club is founded in continuing our RYLA experience, continuing our self-development journey and striving to make a real, tangible change in our communities and across our district. With that being said, since officially being chartered, we have had several projects that we have undergone as a club, which we'll tell you a little bit about now. So that you get a bit of an understanding of what we've achieved in the past 12 months and the things that we'll continue to do in the coming years. So firstly, we had RYLA O-Day last October. This was a one-day event held in Tamworth and saw 20 RYLArians meet from all over the district. During the event, we had a range of guest speakers, including District 9650 District Governor David Main, and Superintendent Kylie Endemi, and she's the Area Commander of the New South Wales Oxley Police District. To bring this event to life, Young Leaders partnered with RYLA Oceania, and they live streamed 2 wonderful guest speakers for us, behavioural scientist Dr. Juliet Tobias-Webb and Australian Shelter Box CEO Mike Greenslade. We rounded out the day by having a range of networking activities and team building games, allowing connections to form between RYLArians from different year groups. We hope to continue this wonderful event each year as it's a good opportunity for our RYLA alumni to continue meeting and I suppose mixing through each year group. Our second project was a partnership with Port Macquarie Rotary Club, where we planted 40 Indigenous trees to improve koala habitat in Dumbogan near Port Macquarie. We did this in under 2 hours. Our club enjoyed the time in nature and learnt a range of new gardening skills from landowners Andy and Jeanette. We are hopeful to create an ongoing partnership with the landowners to support their agreement with the Biodiversity Conservation Trust, ensuring their land is only used for environmental purposes for years to come. Kate, you're muted.
Thank you. Otherwise, I would have kept talking. The next project that our club decided to work on is currently still underway and is a partnership with Turramurra Rotary Club in District 9685, based in Sydney. This project is called Books in Homes. So what we did was we partnered with Moree East Public School to fund this program. And the whole idea behind this program is aimed at improving the literacy of students, specifically Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students, which make up 86% of the population at this school. For this project, we received our first district grant of $4,000, and along with Turramurra, we raised the remaining $5,200, and the program was able to kick off in Term 1, 2022. With our support, the children at this school will receive 2 new books of their choice in terms 1, 2, and 4, a personalised book bag with their name on it, and the school library will receive a lot of books as well. The next project that we worked on was RIPEN. So RIPEN stands for the Rotary Youth Program of Enrichment, as I'm sure many of you know, and is aimed at targeting high school students. So the aim of that program is to help develop a greater sense of self-awareness and appreciate diversity and recognise their own and others' potential by challenging them through active learning activities, problem solving, teamwork activities that are all designed to explore their boundaries, self-understanding and self-resilience as well. This program took place across the first weekend of April this year after not running for a long time in our district for one reason or another. Our club had a massive involvement in resuscitating this program, as club members Daniel and I were actually on the committee for that as the leaders coordinators and program facilitators. And aside from this, we also had 8 leaders to help run that program for the 50 students who attended. 6 of those members were from our club. 6 of those leaders were from our club, and the other 2 are past RYLArians and are looking to now join our club after this experience and hearing what we do in our club.
Our most recent project, a few weeks after RIPEN, was the Rotary Youth Leadership Award for 2022. We sponsored 2 participants to attend the camp, and myself and 3 other club members were team leaders for RYLA this year. So as most of you would know, RYLA is about self-development, self-awareness, and doing all of those sort of things through different challenges and seminars throughout the week. This program took place in the first week of May, so we're only a few weeks past it. And the cohort of RYLA graduates, they've already begun making really good changes in their lives. Only on Sunday night just gone, we held an information session for young leaders, and most of the RYLA cohort actually attended, and quite a number of them have already filled out our membership expression of interest form. So that will be a really good avenue for membership for young leaders in the years to come.
Membership and how we would build and maintain that membership base is something that Charlotte and I have had many conversations around over the past year as we've been forming our club. And from our point of view, in order to build and maintain our membership levels, we need to focus on what members want to get out of joining a Rotary Club. when Kiro presented a few weeks ago on what members typically want out of being Rotarians, those being things such as community service, friendship, and personal development, we decided to find out what the members that we currently have and the incoming members of the Young Leaders Club actually wanted. So to do this, we've created a brief survey for all of our members and those incoming members to give them an opportunity to let the current and incoming boards have feedback on what we've done well in the past year, areas of the club that we can improve upon, and also things that they want to see. Some of the other questions we asked were, what were their most preferred avenues of service, and also why they decided to join Rotary in the first place. So the most common results were for more professional development activities. Throughout the past year, we have regularly hosted guest speakers for our members, but they've asked for more interactive activities for our club to hold during our events, and also for more person-to-person social events, as having Zoom meetings, which is where we typically meet, limits that social interaction element of our club. And this whole idea of what we're doing in the future is something I'll touch on more a little bit later.
So I suppose our two biggest challenges for young leaders that we've had in the past year, and I'm sure we'll continue to face, is the cost of membership and the commitment to club meetings. I'll touch on the cost of membership first. We all know that being a member of Rotary isn't cheap. And with that being said, majority of Rotary Club members are typically above the age of 30, which generally means they're in full-time work. Every member of Young Leaders is between the age of 19 and 30, and over half of our cohort are full-time university students, and the rest are very early in their careers. This means that not only are we still learning how to support ourselves out of home, most of us are actually on student budgets. For the first year as a club, we've managed to keep the costs sort of to a bare minimum, ensuring we just had enough to funds to cover all of our expenses. However, coming into the 2022-23 year, we need to find a way to increase our fees to enable our club to stay afloat, while not asking our members to pay what is often a week's worth of rent for some. So this is something we are working on, and the incoming board is sort of having meetings around that, trying to figure out different solutions. And we don't have any form of an answer yet, so we're welcoming any advice if any of you have that, because that's been a big challenge, especially coming into this new year. It's quite difficult to ask young people sort of early 20s to fork out a few $100s, which is a week's worth of rent for some. So definitely our biggest challenge. And our second main challenge is commitment to meetings, which, like I just said, majority of our members are students. So they're managing full-time study, one, sometimes two jobs, as well as social activities. So committing to a Rotary Club can be quite difficult. To manage this, we have fortnightly meetings that are no more than an hour long on a Wednesday evening. And to encourage participation and attendance, in January, we put a poll up on our club Facebook page, giving every member the opportunity to vote for their best meeting day and time. And almost all of our members agreed on Wednesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. That midweek time, they get home from work or study, can sit down knowing that they've only got maybe 45 minutes to an hour to log into a meeting. And we have seen a huge increase in meeting attendance since doing that. But then again, we're still open to advice, because I'm sure everyone has that challenge of trying to get members to club meetings.
They're definitely our two biggest challenges, and through the establishment of our club, that's come with its own challenges as well, which is something that we haven't touched on in our presentation, but we'd be open to having a conversation with any of you guys if that's something that is of interest to you. But to finish tonight, we thought that as two young people that are in Rotary, we would share about what being a Rotarian means to us. So for me personally, when I think about what this club and Rotary has given me, it's given me an outlet to invest time into young people and communities that need extra support. My absolute favourite thing about the projects that we work on is getting to help people be the best versions of themselves and put a smile on people's faces, knowing that we've made their lives or even just their days a little bit better. I really think that being a part of this club means that we're part of something bigger than ourselves. It means that we're moving forward with an entire group of like-minded people who will be there to continuously encourage and support each other to go that extra mile, be that within our projects, within our careers and professional lives, or within our lives more widely. So, as was mentioned at the start, I am the continuing president for the year 2022-2023. And myself, along with the incoming board, will continue to build on the strong foundation that Charlotte, myself, and the 2021-2022 board has set in motion, some of which are in the audience tonight, which is really awesome to see. So a few ways that we're planning on doing this is by creating specific goal-oriented committees to maximise our ability to participate and undertake projects while creating a positive club culture. Another thing that we're doing is we're in the process of developing a calendar for the next 6 months where we will be organising face-to-face events in different locations around our district. The whole idea behind this calendar and scheduling these types of events so far in advance is because, as Charlotte said, most of us are uni students that are juggling jobs, sometimes 1, 2 jobs and the other magnitude of things that uni students need to juggle in their everyday lives. Next year, we're also putting a bigger emphasis on professional development, which we did this year and are going to be continuing because as young people, we know how important it is to continue this journey of growth and development, particularly around early careers. So by doing these things, we're hoping that we can begin to address one of our biggest challenges and hopefully the other that Charlotte spoke about before.
And much like Kate, I feel very proud knowing that my involvement in Young Leaders is supporting the community and improving the lives of many children, young adults and families. Young Leaders has and will continue to focus on supporting young people, and knowing our club can positively impact their lives brings us all a great sense of pride. I'm incredibly proud of our achievements so far, and you've heard quite a number of them tonight. And I look forward to supporting the club for many years to come. We've both had our challenges, and again, like Kate said, we won't go into the detail of setting up a club and chartering a club because that's a whole nother topic. But having the support from 9650 District Governor David Main and 9660 District Governor-elect Neville Parsons, alongside their respective management teams, they've made our journey just that small amount easier, knowing we could always rely on their expertise and experience in Rotary. So before we move on to any questions, we've put together a video that we actually shared at our charter event in January. And this video is all of our club members that were part of our club in January. So Kate will share that screen now.
I'm Caitlin, your co-president. When I think about what this club has given me, it's given me an outlet for being able to invest time into the young people who are the leaders of tomorrow and into communities that need extra support. My absolute favourite thing about this club is being able to put a smile on people's faces through our projects and just know that we've made their lives or even their day just a little bit easier and a little bit better.
Hi guys, it's Charlotte, your other co-president here. Much like Caitlin, I feel so proud knowing that my involvement in this club is supporting the community and improving the lives of children, young adults and families. Young Leaders has and will continue to focus on supporting young people, and knowing our club can positively impact their lives brings us all a great sense of pride. I'm incredibly proud of our achievements so far, and I look forward to supporting the club for many years to come.
Hi guys, my name's Jamie, and my favourite thing about being a part of this club is giving back to the community and creating friendships along the way.
Hi, my name's Hayden, and my favourite thing about this Rotary Club is the fact that we often give support to youth projects.
Hi, my name's Dee, and my favourite part about being part of the club is the sense of euphoria that you get through helping other people.
Hey, it's Sari. What's my favourite thing about being in the club? Probably seeing everyone, just catching up. But also, I feel like because we're all over New South Wales, we just get a lot of different ideas and things to help our communities out. So I think that's pretty amazing. So, yeah.
Hey everyone, my name's Amber, and my favourite part of being part of our Rotary Club is giving back to the community and meeting new people.
My name is Jess, and my favourite thing about being a part of Young Leaders is coming together and sharing our thoughts and ideas for different projects we can work on.
Hi, my name's Hannah and I'm from Coonabarabran. My favourite thing about our Rotary Club is that it was formed from our RYLA cohort, so we all have shared that experience, and those key values form part of our vision for our club. And I also love maintaining those friendships, and it's a great way to stay connected.
Hi, my name's Mitch, and my favourite thing about being in the club is our ability to work together while contributing to worthwhile projects for the greater good of the community.
I'm Stephen Wrightson, and my favourite part about the club is definitely the inspirational speakers and just the inspirational people in general. They're all wonderful human beings, and as someone who's so far away, it's such a great community, and it's really inviting, and it's really fun. It's great.
Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee and I'm the membership chair for our club. I really hope you're all having a good night. I just wanted to say what I'm looking forward to in the future for our club, and that is of course making new friends and memories, and also looking forward to our future projects.
G'day, my name's Daniel and I'm a member of the Young Leaders Rotary Club. What I'm looking forward to about our club is being able to help people. I love putting a smile on people's face, whether that's helping them in need or even just putting on an event for someone and doing a barbecue.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm so excited for our club to make a difference. RYLA is what brought us together, and our experiences will always keep us grounded. We have so many amazing communities that we want to support, and we have amazing people in our club to help get us there.
Hi all, I'm Victoria Lee from Crimson Park Livestock, and I've chosen to be a part of the Young Leaders Rotary Club because I believe as a young leader of today, it's our role now to take on the responsibility of fostering young leaders of tomorrow. So thanks for all being here, and we're super excited to see this club kick off 2022 in a fantabulous start. Thanks.
G'day folks, Luke Massey coming to you here from my workplace in Tamworth. When I think about the Young Leaders Rotary Club, I think about opportunity. Opportunity for growth, opportunity for development, and opportunity to better those around us. So let's get stuck in 2022.
Hi, I'm Luca, and the thing I'm looking forward to most about the club is people from all over the state and the country even coming together to just work on some really amazing projects.
Hello, my name is Caitlin, and I believe that the future of the Young Leaders Rotary Club is going to include innovative opportunities, personal growth, and a safe space for mentoring young leaders.
Hi, it's Luke here. I look forward to this club finding different ways to engage with youth in the community, providing them with opportunities to develop their leadership skills and supporting them with their own individual journeys of self-discovery.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth, and as a new member of the Young Leaders Rotary Club, I'm really looking forward to connecting with a lot of new lovely people, positively contributing to our regional communities, and just generally uplifting all of the wonderful people that we will engage with through Rotary projects. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to the year ahead.
that pretty much brings us to the end of our presentation. So we'll hand back over to you now, Kiro.
Fantastic. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Charlotte. That was fantastic. First cab off the rank is Bill Robinson from District 9930 in New Zealand. Bill, you have a question about Rotary versus Rotaract.
Yeah, so what was the driving force in creating a Rotary Club rather than a Rotaract Club?
I can take this one, Kate. So in quite a number of the areas that our club services, there are already Rotaract clubs. So people from our RYLA cohort, some have joined their local Rotaract clubs for that in-person element, which is why we chose to go with Rotary instead.
There was sorry, can I just extend on that? There was also, we were in conversation with our district governor, who is also the RYLA chair in our district. So we got to know him very well. And one of the recommendations that he put to us was becoming a Rotary Club over a Rotaract Club, because we have a lot more freedom and governance around what projects we can actually engage with in that space as well.
Thank you for that. So I've been RYLA chair for the last 14 years in 9930 as well, but we actually had a group from last year started a Rotaract Club, and so hence why I asked.
Great. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. Bill, you had, just following up on that, you had a comment about percentages of, about admin percentages and the like.
Yeah, we a recommendation of whether it's an RI thing or a New Zealand thing, I don't know, but some clubs put 10% of any fundraising into club admin, and so the previous comment said that maybe some club admin could sort of subsidise your membership.
Bill,
thank you.
Brian Coffey, you had a question about statements and a question on governance.
Yeah, thanks, Kiro, and you know I'll have something to say. First of all, Caitlin and Charlotte, thank you so much for that presentation and your team and watching that video. Boy, you've got a good club. You've got a good club there. Congratulations. I'm actually your assistant Rotary coordinator up until the end of June, so you haven't got much longer, but I could answer some questions for you. But congratulations on your networking and the achievements of projects that you've already achieved. And some of those, what you've achieved in less than a year is far beyond what some established clubs have actually done. And yeah, that is a truth. You have done a lot. And the members who are calling there for professional development opportunity is very encouraging, and that desire to do some social work, that's extremely important for your future. And yeah, and as Bill said, I was one of the ones who commented about using some of the admin fees there for membership. And if you have a talk to Neville Parsons, he'll tell you what you can do there as well, quite legally within Australia. But my question, and I've seen this with chartering new clubs, and the major challenge in chartering a new club is with grasping governance, both Rotary governance and the law of the land, the government legislation. Have you had a mentor to help you through this, or are there members in the club that already have this capability and have been able to lead you for the last 10 or 11 months that you've been around?
I suppose I'll start, and then Kate, I'll hand over to you. We've relied heavily on David Main, who's the current district governor for 9650, and Neville Parsons. He's the district governor-elect for 966. So we've relied heavily on both of their input and advice. And our partner club is actually David's club, so Rotary Club of Port Macquarie, and they've guided us as well through that process. Kate, do you have more to add?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. They have been phenomenal in terms of whenever we've had a question about some form, particularly when we were establishing with some form that we had to fill out that we didn't understand or something like that, they were always just a phone call away and made it a real priority to jump on a Zoom and help us fill it out or look over it once we'd had a crack at it or whatever that looked like. So, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, because I know some of the clubs that start up, they have a problem with even meeting procedure or financial procedures. But and I also note your board seems to have gone outside the model that Rotary has for boards, and if it works, go for it. And one of your members there who really impressed me, and don't let go of this guy. But yeah, you seem to all the boys seem to be called Luke or Lucas by the looks of things. But is it the Luke from Tamworth, Luke Massey, was it?
Yeah, impressive.
Yeah, don't let go of that guy. He's a real goer. You make sure you keep him in your club, okay?
He's actually on the call with us tonight.
Oh, is he? Where is he?
I think he jumped off when we
he's down there. He's down there with no photo. So.
No, he's still there.
Yeah, but boy, he's impressive just in the video. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Super. Thanks, Brian. And thanks, Caitlin and Charlotte. We do have some more questions here. One from past Governor Pushpa regarding the movement of your graduations and the like. Over to you, please, Pushpa.
Thanks, Carol, and congratulations for the young ones, Kathleen, for your presentation. Very impressive, and it's a good sign for Rotary for young ones to join and work with the Rotary principles. My concern is what will happen when some of you graduate and find work elsewhere and they move out from your area. You're going to lose a good proportion of your members as and when they graduate. One other question about contributing some money from fundraising. You must be very careful unless you advertise that and on your fundraising day that part of the funds is going to members dues or whatever it is against the charter of Rotary International. Thank you.
Thank you. In relation to your first question, in terms of what happens when people graduate and move away. So since starting our club, I have relocated twice. Charlotte has also relocated, and we have a number of members who have moved. Some have moved out of the district, but are still members of our club. And given that we meet online, attending meetings and that sort of thing isn't an issue. But the only issue sort of that would arise in that space is participating in projects, and which is a voluntary thing anyway. Not every member participates in every project, even if they're all in the same town. So I think it's something that we're mindful of, but I don't believe it will impact our ability to still maintain our club membership base in the long term. The other thing is with RYLA being an annual thing, we being a club that's born from RYLA, it's something that is spoken about at our club, at the program. So with the RYLA, as Charlotte said, with the RYLA that just happened a couple of weeks ago in May, she was a leader there and was able to actually speak about our club and talk to the interested participants there. And then we held a information session, and we actually had 15 expressions of interest come through in that after that session straight away. So it's something that I think we'll keep in the back of our minds, but it's not something I'm particularly worried about at the moment.
Super. Thank you, Pushpa. Thank you, Caitlin. A question there from Sarah Hill regarding partnering.
Hi, guys. Soon to be part of your district. Sarah from Newcastle will be 9660 soon enough. So I've got an interesting question. I'm not quite as young as you, but a millennial in Rotary as well. So, get the same kind of hat and link. And I have to say, I'm very impressed that you've literally chartered a club, which is daunting as hell. So congratulations on that. Some ideas that have always floated around with some of the younger members in our district that you probably haven't had a chance to hear about was always that the idea of e-club meetings, which you're doing, but the idea, because the district's so big and, we're about to get a whole lot bigger, that members are spread everywhere, but that service that was actually just raised up as an issue is that partnering with the local Rotary or Rotaract clubs where you are for service projects that are happening in those communities. And I don't know how that can be facilitated on a district or area region, but having somewhere where you can go, okay, so who's doing what in my area and do I want to jump in? And I know that that's something that was floated around down here, and this is the first opportunity I've actually had to talk to you to say, hey, that might be good for you too. And so, yeah, it's just kind of funny that the question before kind of led into this. But yeah, it's always, even I find, I don't live exactly where my club meets. I've had to move as well. So I love my club. That's why I stick with my club. So that's the nature of being a millennial and a Gen Z. We're kind of more transient. So I feel that I totally hear where you're coming from. And I'll say to anyone who's a little bit concerned with people graduating, becoming professionals, all I'm going to say was then you've got a professional in Rotary. And then they can help train the younger ones, but then also you've got professionals who can go overseas and do service or give their professional service. So and if we move, Rotary's everywhere in the world. So you're still a Rotarian. You don't stop being a Rotarian when you move. And if you need to change Rotary clubs because you've changed countries, you're still a Rotarian. So I just kind of want to quell some misgivings that might be there from some other people, because that's kind of the mentality I've always had. And I think a lot of younger Rotarians have the same mentality. 1.4 million worldwide, guys. We're all Rotarians. Doesn't matter where we sit. But yeah, I want to say I'm very impressed, and I do look forward to actually meeting you and hopefully getting to work with you. It would be really nice. But no, yeah, the idea that partnering with local Rotary clubs where you're at, as I said, I live in a suburb that's technically a different LGA to where my club is. So during lockdown, I had to make do. Helped out locally instead of going across borders. So it's a good option for those who are split up. It's something I've utilised.
You make a really good point, and we fortunately have partnered with Port Macquarie Rotary Club for our tree planting project. With the Moree project, we've partnered with Turramurra, so it's a bit more relevant to the few of us who live in Sydney. So we've started doing little bits and pieces, and definitely with the district amalgamation, we'll be able to connect with you and your club as well, Sarah, and I'm sure we'll be able to find a few different projects to jump on board with as well. Thank you for your advice.
Super. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Caitlin and Charlotte. Another question from Bill Robertson at New Zealand. Over to you, please, Bill, regarding the move to 9670.
Yeah, there's a little bit of history behind my question, because I've just spent 8 days in Mudgee quarantining with COVID, which I caught at the RDU building in Sydney. And my sister-in-law is a Rotarian. She talks a little bit about your amalgamation with the two districts and a little bit of discord, I would put it that way, in the amalgamation. Have you had a say in the future of 9670?
I can chat a little bit to this, and then I'm sure Kate will add to what I say. We haven't had a lot to do with it. However, I was present for our district, I think it was the AGM that I attended. So I was able to have my voice heard in that meeting. But obviously, being a new Rotary Club, the amalgamation was already well underway, and that sort of whole process was already happening before we were even chartered. So we have had our voice heard in the right ways, but it's not something that we've had a lot of input into. And I suppose we don't have the knowledge to be able to input much into that anyway.
Thank you. Maybe in the future.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thanks, Bill, and thanks, Caitlin and Charlotte. Tony Rayner, regarding the content of RYLA and how you got into it.
Yes, thanks, Kate and Charlotte. It was really good. I'm Club 9910, well, sorry, District 9910, only hung out in One Tree Hill in Auckland, New Zealand. And we've got a very old bunch of members, and we want to attract more younger members. So that's our main aim this year as a club. That's why I'm here. And I was attracted to this meeting tonight. So one of the questions, a couple of questions. What in the RYLA course impacted you most, each of you? And secondly, how were you introduced into RYLA in the first place? Who introduced you?
Do you want me to start, Charl?
Yeah, you go first, and then I can talk about my experience.
So I think for me, I was always going to end up at RYLA eventually. I think I'm a third generation Rotarian in my family. So I always knew what Rotary was, and was introduced to Rotary at about 13 when I started doing our public speaking competitions and all of that kind of stuff while I was in high school. And then from there, my local Rotary Club sent me to RYLA, and that was where I met Charlotte and everyone else that formed our club. But I think what impacted me the most, I think the impact for me is really twofold. So in a social perspective, I met my now partner there. So that was, we would never have crossed paths otherwise. And I also met some people that are now my best friends, and I do pretty much everything with them on the weekends. From a professional perspective, I currently am studying my PhD. I'm halfway through it, and I was 6 months into it when I went to RYLA. And after having conversations with some of the people that were participants during our year, I pretty much went home and restructured my entire PhD and changed. Same topic area and same space, but I changed my approach to it because I realized that there was a way, there was things that I wanted to do in that space that would better serve what I wanted out of my PhD. Hopefully that makes sense.
I'll talk to my experience. So I applied for the National Youth Science Forum through my high school and was sponsored by Port Macquarie Rotary Club. They selected me to attend that program in 2018 at the start of my HSC year. I've kept in contact with their youth officer, Diana Gammon, who has been the youth officer there for quite a number of years. And I always went back and attended any sort of events like Christmas parties or alumni events over the past few years. And Port Macquarie got in contact with me at the start of last year, offering me a scholarship to RYLA. And I sort of turned around to Diana and went, I'm too busy at uni. I'll be in exams, not happening. And she gave me a little nudge and went, you need to go. You just have to do it. So I went. So I figured out my exams. I moved things around, got approval from my subject coordinators, and I went along to RYLA. And I think two major takeaways for me were my career and my uni pathway. So I'm in the final year of my undergraduate degree at UTS. I'm studying a Bachelor of Sport and Exercise Science. And I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go with it because there's a few really good pathways. You can sort of go into allied health and medicine. You can go down the education pathway, or you can go and work in high-performance sport teams and Olympic teams. And I had no idea where I really wanted to go with that. And RYLA gave me the power to figure that out. So I'll be starting a Masters of Teaching next year, and I'll be becoming a high school teacher, so PE and science, which obviously uses my current undergraduate degree. But the other thing I got out of RYLA was a lot of self-discovery and realising that I wasn't putting in any effort into friendships and things like that. I was so busy going like I'd just become a manager at my job, which I've recently stepped down from, and I was so focused on all these other elements that I wasn't taking the time to look after myself and care for my friends. So they were sort of my two major takeaways from RYLA. And obviously, like Kate said, we met each other and all of our club members and went from there.
Super. Thanks, Tony, Caitlin and Charlotte.
Thanks, ladies. Yep.
I think we'll go over to Peter Garnett for the next question, because I think there's going to be a lot of interest in this one, Peter, regarding the commitment to starting a club.
It comes from both myself and my partner, Elaine Mead, who's our district membership chair, who really interested in what was the glue or what was the thing that actually enabled you to get your group of Rylarians to commit to forming a Rotary Club. You know, what was the catalyst to it? We've tried a couple of years of our Rylarians. Last year we had a group that were quite keen, but it just didn't work. No matter what we did, we couldn't quite get them across the line. So really interested in what was success for you.
I think for us, so how it kind of worked was, it wasn't an idea that was floated to us until the very end of RYLA, and you know, you're all getting, you know, G'd up to leave and you're not wanting to leave. So it was kind of put to us as a way to do some real good and make changes for people that need it in our communities, but also as a way to stay in touch, because obviously, you know, you go away for a week with 50 strangers and have no phone and no nothing. You have to make connections. So that's kind of how the idea was floated to us on one of the last days, and we did have a lot of interest as well. So I think we had started with 46 people that were interested, and more than half of those, after they got out back to the real world, realised that they just didn't have the time to commit to a club. But thankfully, you know, we were still over that 20-person mark that is an RI requirement on chartering a club. And then the glue that really kind of held it together was David, so our district governor, and Charlotte and myself. We talked together pretty much every day, multiple times a day, for hours on end for the 10 weeks that it took to establish our club. We were very sick of each other by the end of it. But it was, you know, that commitment together that we'd made to one another. It would have been nearly impossible to do if there was only one president. The fact that we were able to share the load across us and with our executive board, who were also, you know, in this whirlwind of making all these changes to their personal lives and all of this other stuff. So having that extra set of hands in terms of that co-presidency was really, really important because, you know, Charlotte and I are both at uni and working and all of the rest of it, and we just would not have had the time if we weren't able to cut it in half and say, all right, while you do this, I'm going to do this, and then we'll come together and we'll go from there. It wouldn't have got done.
I think the only thing I'll add to the end of that is, if, like Kate said, if we didn't have each other, there's no way it would have happened. I would have given up in the first week if I was trying to do that by myself, like guaranteed. And I know Kate would have been exactly the same.
And look, we joked about it. We joked about throwing in the towel and saying, you know, this is too hard. I don't understand this bloody form. Or, you know, whatever it might have been at the time. And then, you know, we'd get on the phone and we'd talk to each other, and then we'd ring David and he'd be like, what do you want now? And we'd be like, well, we actually have another question for you about this form. And he sort of said, I talked to you 10 minutes ago. And I'm like, yep, we're down to the next section now. So can you just join our Zoom meeting? And he would. He came along and joined. And if he didn't have the answer or wasn't 100% sure, he was able to say, go and talk to this person, or go and talk to that person, or I'll talk to them and I'll get back to you. And he always did. So I think it was having that really supportive network around us that kept us going, because it is challenging. It is really, really challenging to charter a club, particularly when you're very busy on top of that, but also don't have the legal background and don't understand a lot of the jargon that is thrown around at an RI level. So having a mentor that actually cares about the outcome is super important, because I think, without someone to kind of decode that for us, we wouldn't have known what was required of us and wouldn't have been able to actually get it off the ground.
So that mentoring was really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely pivotal.
Yeah,
fantastic.
For sharing that. That's really worthwhile. I appreciate it. Thank you. And all the very best for keeping that going and growing.
Thank you. The other thing I will just add to the end of that, while I've just thought of it, is that there was no hard and fast sequence of how things needed to be done. We're still finding out things now that, you'll be talking to someone at Showcase or a district assembly or whatever it might be, and they say, oh, have you got this in your club? And you go, no, what's that? And you're like, oh crap, okay, I better go and apply for that now. So we're still, there's no checklist that says you've got to have this in place, you've got to have that in place, you've got to, which I think made the reliance on that mentor even more than it really had to be. I think, if that was something that could be put in place, that would be so helpful for Rotary clubs that are chartering in the future. We started to put one together, and then it just kind of blurred together of what we did, because it all happened so quickly. We got it off the ground so fast. So
yes. So basically, I think what you're saying is that, I'm seeing that maybe Rotary is a bit out of date in its processes. It's not meeting the ways that young people want to operate. We're sort of working in a 1980s methodology, which worked great back then, but maybe it doesn't suit the pace of younger people now. And maybe Rotary International needs to look at itself to modernise and come a bit more, I don't know, the processes and procedures are too cumbersome for younger people to join and set things up. So that's what I'm hearing.
And just confusing too. Sorry, Charlotte.
I was just going to add, so I'm the club public officer, so I dealt primarily with all of sort of the ASIC side of things, and every country has its own policies as well, and I think that was probably our biggest hurdle, and I spent hours and hours on it, and Kate can attest to this, reading through ASIC's website, so the Australian Securities and Investments Commission, to make sure that I did the right things, because my name was on those documents, so that I didn't do anything wrong legally. And we had advice from lawyers and accountants and things like that to get it done correctly. Unfortunately, Neville Parsons was one of those main people. But there's this expectation that I'm 21 and Kate's just turned, would you just turn 24? 24. We have no understanding of any of this sort of thing, and having to sort of find people to help us was a real challenge. And even we had to send this one form back 3 times because even the accountants and lawyers couldn't get it right with us as well. So there's sort of, I suppose, maybe national bodies of Rotary need to put together some sort of just a brief outline of where you need to go to source the information, to figure out what forms you need to send in and what order of things, because we couldn't pay for these forms with ASIC until our bank account was open, but they wouldn't open a bank account without an ABN. But we needed a form from ASIC to, this whole sort of crossover, and no one would do anything for us until this thing was done, but it couldn't be done until that thing was done. So, just to add on to that.
That was a nightmare. Oh, God.
Can I just say that we've just chartered a new club over here in New Zealand as well, and your fair comment about is there a planning guide, or there is actually on my Rotary a 9 steps to starting a new club, and Barbara and I have been talking about it. She sent it to me because she knows what we've been going through, and she's asked me, it's kind of like a checklist, and I said, well, it's pretty good, but there's a few extra steps that it would benefit from putting it in. And then there's this big long many pages more in detail, and I said the checklist basically has to have, if they didn't read anything else except this checklist, they would have everything that they need to do to start a club. So this conversation has reminded me, I've had the verbal conversation with her, and I was to write all my ideas down on an email. So tomorrow, that's what I'll be doing. And hopefully there'll be a checklist, a more detailed checklist for starting new clubs.
Yeah, so that was one of the first things that was sent to us, and we still had a lot of issues in navigating that. And like Charlotte said, even with the aid of that checklist, that was one of the first things that David and Neville actually gave us, and it still caused a lot of confusion and a lot of calls back and forth, and a lot of issues in actually getting up and running. I think these issues delayed us chartering our club by about 3 weeks from an RI perspective. So realistically, our club should have been up and running 5 weeks after RYLA. No, 6 weeks after RYLA. But this hold up caused us so much trouble because no one would give us the benefit of the doubt and help us. And that could possibly, there's a lot of reasons that could be not just from a requirement perspective. It could be because we're really young too, and don't know what we're doing. But yeah, that's a whole other conversation though.
Yeah. Maybe you and I can carry on offline at another time, because I absolutely hear what you're saying. We had the same issues with our bank accounts. Can't get that till we've got our incorporated society papers, and with COVID, the bank wouldn't see us, so we had a few issues as well. But it's knowing how to get around it. There's always a way of getting around things, and I think that comes with maturity.
So there's two side-by-side processes there. There's the Rotary setting up a club process, but there's also the country or the government process of setting up an organisation, whether it's an incorporated society, and they both have their foibles, but it's not, unfortunately, not all Rotary, because particularly as we've had more of the financial management type issues, banking has become harder and harder, and setting up a organisation has become more detailed. So I have great sympathy, but I do say there's two parallel processes going on that both have their complexities.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope you saw the thing about tree mission.
Yes, I did.
Check it out on Facebook. Alan's the founder of Tree Mission, and it's a wonderful cause, so it's worth having a look at that. Let's give Charlotte and Caitlin a big round of applause for a job well done. Great work, team. On that note, folks, hope to see you next week, and keep up the great work in membership and club building. So good night.
Yeah, well done, ladies.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.